and the equivalency of this diploma is equal to the master's, and you can proceed towards the master's when you attend this diploma and when you fulfill the assessment of these diplomas. Okay, let me introduce you something that you have total um, 9 units, and in these 9 units, 4 units are the mandatory units, and among these uh, 5 units, there are two optional units you can pick up according to your own choice. So you have to take 6 units in total, which is equals to 12 hours of total qualification time. So we will discuss today the second unit, which is environmental science and energy transition. I want to know that my voice is clear to you, and everything I'm speaking is clear to all of you.
Yes, ma'am. Just screen is a problem to take in presentation mode. So much be better.
So can you introduce yourself, each and every person?
Yes, my name is Syed Asad Ali Shah. I have complete my BS in disaster management from University of Peshawar and complete postgraduate diploma in GIS and remote sensing. So now I'm doing a job as an environment coordinator in Saudi Arabia.
I'm glad to meet you, Mr. Asad, and you are working as environmental coordinator, which is very important profession. So good luck for your future. Okay, anyone else who want to introduce?
Yes, my name is Mohammad Shoaib Khan. Currently, I
Uh,
am working as an environmental engineer here in Red Sea project at Saudi Arabia.
okay, nice to meet you. You are working as an environmental engineer. Great. Okay, and Mr. Uneem Jamil. Yes, Mr. Jamil, can you please introduce yourself, and can you please tell us about yourself, what you are doing, and what is your profession? Okay, so I have already told you that you have to attend these 6 units, which is compulsory to people, and this is the table which I will show you in the slide. Okay, these four are the mandatory. You have already took the session about the fundamental of sustainability, and today's second session of this diploma, and the second session is about environmental science and energy transition. So first of all, uh, I want to tell you that what is energy transition. The term energy transition refers to changing our energy system from fossil fuel based to renewable energy sources. You know that there are the renewable resources and the non-renewable resources. So can anybody from the class, uh, obviously these are the very common energy resources. So can you please tell me what are the non-renewable energy resources, and what are the non-renewable, and what are renewable energy resources? Yes, please. Okay, no problem. I will tell you in the next.
Ma'am, the non-renewable resources just like fossil fuel, petroleum, natural gases, nuclear energy, and renewable resources in the solarizations, uh, solar energy, just like that.
Yes, absolutely true. The solar, wind, and hydro energy, these are the renewable energy resources, while the fossil fuels, coal, oil, and gas, and the nuclear energies, these are the non-renewable forms of the energy. Actually, I missed another. So I'm moving further. Okay. Basically, an energy system is a framework that helps to describe an energy system by describing the energy flows and the energy conversion technologies and the energy outputs. So practically, we said that these are the reference energy system, that from where the energy will come and from where the energy will utilize. So this is the whole energy system. So there will be a power station where the energy are generated. So before moving towards the further, I want to tell you guys that basically up to this day, the change has been highly driven by the individuals and the environmental scientists. But the cost of the renewable energy continues to fall because the global energy sectors and the market will naturally shift towards the renewable. So the non-renewable energies and the renewable energies are different in the terms of the cost. So people are preferring to use the renewable energy resources. So I would like to say that there are clear signs that the world is in a position to move away from the current non-renewable resources such as fossil fuels and the dependent system. And this change is definitely is the indication of the government policy and the environmentalists and the innovative technologies. These all these factors that shift and reduce the carbon emissions, and basically they wanted to reduce the phenomena of rise in the temperature. You know, whenever the carbon dioxide trapped in the atmosphere, it will increase the temperature of the entire globe and create the phenomena of the greenhouse gases. So by burning the fossil fuels and these non-renewable energy resources, the process of greenhouse gases, climate change, and the global warming, these are the effects on the environment. And the unit name is the environmental science and the energy transition. That how can we improve our environment through energy transition? That how can we shift the energy generation and energy transformation processes so that we can improve our environment and we can solve the issues such as climate change, greenhouse gases, and the global warming. Okay, so these are the energy resources. For example, there is a fuel transformation, and these are after that step the fuel will be refined and the electricity will be generated. And after passing through the several conversion devices, it will convert it into the distribution generators and the conversion also that useful energy can be used by the different system. And then the final services will be that energy can be used in the form of electricity, heat, and light. So in this picture, you will have the clear idea. So I will give you the entire overview of the energy in this one picture. First of all, you see the primary supply, and in which we have the renewables like biomass, mining, crude oil, natural oil, coal, and in what we oil products and the coal and these types of the things. After that, fuel has been processed, like the fuel has been refined in the refineries, and then the industries, different type of the industries uses that energy, and then again that energy used for manufacturing of certain product or for cooling or lightning purposes or for the water supply or anything. So first of all, the primary energy supply is a necessity, and then we have the conversion technologies, and after that we have the end use technology, and at the end we have demand for the energy services. So basically, I want to tell you that why the energy transition is so important. Access to affordable, reliable energy through the renewable can transform lives. The human life can be transformed by using the renewable energy resources. So there are million people in the world who lack access to the electricity, introduction to the clean energy resources, power generation for such communities, such as improved healthcare, better education. And so these renewable energy resources can create the jobs in power sectors and improve the livelihood by cutting down the carbon emissions. Okay, these carbon emissions are very dangerous and pollute our entire environment, which affects the human beings. So, why the energy transition trends in the upcoming period? Why we are learning about the energy transition? Over the past decades, renewable have changed our energy system and have proven effective in any developed nation. But for the energy transition to be successful, it must be occur globally. The both developed and underdeveloped developing countries must have to work together for this energy shift. The trends which have to be followed entire globe, that in which we have to train our underdeveloping countries, and the developed countries will also take part, and they have to play a significant role in this shift of the energy so that we can save our environment. Okay. So when you see in this picture, how does the energy transition framework can work? Whenever we talk about the energy transition, like renewable resources, there will be a concept of the environmental sustainability. Because whenever we use non-renewable resources over and over again, but we have left for the next generations. So sustainability use that we have to save for the next generations, but we have to uh, use according to our needs. So for sustainability, we have to put the certain precautions that we have to save the environment, we have to save the economic conditions, and we have to save the environment. So what is sustainability? That within the limit, we have to complete our needs, and after that we have to get something for the next generation, because the energy system structure, this can help in saving the energy, because when the manufacturing system has been changed, the entire result and the outcome will be changed. Then we have the capital investment, that what it's entirely depend upon the finance. Whether you have such type of budget that you can install such type of system through which you can save the energy, and at the same times the political conditions are also affecting the environment and the energy transitions, because politicians and the government has a huge role, and these type of the bodies are the legislative bodies, and these type of the authoritative bodies have the hold in the entire economic sector and the environmental sector. So this will be very important that we have to show, because for me, each and every student is an environmentalist, and you have to work for the energy transitions. So we have to keep things in mind, that either we have the budget for installation of such type of the energy manufacturing system, or what are the political conditions of that specific sector, and then we have the such type of the scientists or the institutions which can go on excuse me, which can govern such type of the system, and which can develop and drive in such type of system, so that we can shift and we can transit the energy. Similarly, we have the innovative ideas that how can we shift the, the solar energy generation is a very unique idea, and it has been applicable to the entire globe. So people are adopting this technique rapidly, and it's very good technique. So this technique has been invented by the scientists, by the environmentalists. So the innovative ideas and the scientists, we have these necessary elements for the transition of the energies. And again, we have the human capital and consumer participation, because we have to um, uh, include all the stakeholders in such things, so that whenever we want to take a big step, that we want to transit the energy, we want to shift the energy generation processes, then we have to talk with all the stakeholders. So basically, there are the 10 successful energy transformation pathway, and I will tell you one by one what are it. So, accessible to the stable, affordable, and sustainable energy supply is a basic human right. And availability of the sustainable energy condition for the long-term economic prosperity. Whenever you want to ensure the availability of the energy, you have to keep in mind that the mean of the energy should be a sustainable means. That we have no right to deplete the resources over and over again, because nature has the power to resist. But what we are doing to our next generation, what we are doing to the earth. So bespoke national energy roadmaps are the vital weapon till you realize the energy transitions. So a nation and each and every member of the nation should work on the such type of the roadmaps to realize that how can we transit the energy. Number fourth is we have to leverage the individual strength and the power of multilateral relationships to accelerate the pace of the energy transition. That okay, this is again the thing that the both developed countries and the underdeveloping countries must have to work together to help this planet, to help each other as well, because all of us have to live on this planet. So we have to cooperate with each other. Again, you have to utilizing the high efficient existing technology in paramount to bridge to a zero carbon world. We have to free our world with carbon, because these carbon footprints and this carbon cycle is basically very dangerous to our planet, and it creates the such type of environmental disasters such as the floods, because due to the rise in the temperature, the glacier starts melting, and again, the flood is one of the environmental disaster which has been faced by the people due to increment, due to the rise of the concentration of the carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So the energy system will transform into one integrated ecosystem for all new clean technologies. And for the highly flexible and the reliable transmission, the network will be the intelligent backbone of a decarbonized energy system. So whenever we want to develop a renewable energy transition system, so the channels and the transmission and the distribution network should be built strong. And the budget again, we have to access to the capital at a reasonable cost, because it will play a crucial role into the energy transition. If we don't have the funds, if we don't have the capital and the budget, what we will do? We will do nothing without the capital. And again, the collaboration of the strong partners will solve the challenges in financing the energy transition. But now is the 21st century, and the people are working on it. Different scientists, environmentalists, policymakers, these are working on it, and things are getting much as before. Okay, so from this slide, You people must be careful because these are directly related to your assignment and assessment, because these are the topics related to your assignment. Before that, I'm just explaining you that what is energy transition and what are these things. And one thing I want to check at you. Okay, so first of all, energy related carbon cycle and its impact on the temperature. Human, okay, here is a question that why we have to use the phenomena of energy transition, because by using the old mean of the energy generation and the old mean of the energy utilization will boost the carbon in the atmosphere, and the carbon in the atmosphere will rise the temperature, and it will ultimately give us the phenomena of greenhouse gases, global warming, and the climate change. Humans have a huge effect on the carbon cycle. When we burn woods, fossil fuels such as oil, coal, and natural gas, and other forms of the carbon, this action releases the stored carbon into the atmosphere, becoming a greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases are the gases in the atmosphere that absorb and release heat. So when the carbon dioxide concentration rises, the air temperature goes up and the more water vapor evaporate into the atmosphere, which then amplify the greenhouse gas heating. Okay, so this is the carbon cycle. The plants who can convert the carbon atmospheric carbon dioxide into the oxygen. So the plants are very important, and plants are known as the environmental buffers. We have to plant as much as trees and the plants as we can, because plants are really helpful for the nature. But the phenomena of the deforestation, and we are very interested and we are very greedy, because we keep continue the building of the industries, we keep continue to build the societies, and we cut each and every trees to clean the land because we have certain development plans. So, but this is again very dangerous for us, for the environment, and for the nature as well. So, for the following the phenomena of sustainability, you have to be careful for the economic, for the environment, and for the human beings as well. So, next we have the carbon flows in plant. In carbon flows, that carbon dioxide has been utilized by the plant in the and for, and you can, okay, focus on this. Okay, by the help of the photosynthesis, these plants can utilize the carbon dioxide and help our environment. So see, similarly for this, microbes, soil, water, these are the unhelping factors for the photosynthesis. So the atmospheric carbon net annual increase is increasing day by day, and there is a typical figure that each and every year 0.5% I get to the temperature which rises each and every year, and it basically boosts the phenomenon of climate change, which is very dangerous for us. So similarly, we have the second thing, which is the physical harvesting renewable energy resources. So we have the onshore harvesting resources, offshore harvesting. We have renewable energy resources and the energy resources. So for the renewable energy resources, we have the solar energy. In this, you can utilize the sunlight, and you can install the solar plates. So there is a proper system in the solar system that can generate that heat energy to the electricity. Then we have the wind energy, in which turbines has been installed at the site, and the movement of the turbines basically results in the electricity generation. Then we have the hydropower, which water used for generation of the electricity, which is also renewable resources. And then we have the biothermal. Biothermal means Realize the animal manure, the crop residues, food waste, and all for all these items we have to introduce bacteria, and that anaerobic bacteria will convert these biomass energy into the electricity. And then we have the geothermal energy in which the earth heat, and it will basically that heat of that land can be converted into the electricity. This is again a comparison of renewable and the non-renewable energies. I have already explained the renewable energy means now we have the non-renewable energy in which we have the fossil fuel, the coal, nuclear energy, and the natural gas, which is important for the environment and for the human beings as well. Okay, how okay next? How can we store it? And the grid? What is grid management? So the grid stability is the cornerstone of reliable electrical supply system that ensure that the electricity is delivered consistently and efficiently to the consumers. As its core, grid stability refers to the ability of the electrical grid to maintain a balance electricity generation and the consumption, while also managing the various factors that could potentially disrupt this equilibrium. To devolve the deeper into the understanding, grid stability is essential to explore that its component and the factor that influence its operation. Okay, give me 1 second, please. Okay, so we have different types of the factor which affect this grid management. For example, we have the electrical grid comprises of a vast network of the power generation facilities, transmission lines, substations, and the distribution system. So it operates on a complex web interconnected infrastructure, allowing electricity to be produced, transmitted, and distributed from power plant to the end users. So, what are the key components of the grid? It includes the generation, power plants, including fossil fuel, nuclear, hydroelectric, wind, solar, and other renewable resources that produce electricity. And the transmission is basically high voltage lines and the substations that transport electricity over the long distance, connecting generation facilities to the distribution networks. And in distribution networks, we have the lower voltage lines, transformers, and the distribution substations that deliver the electricity to homes, businesses, and industrial facilities. Okay, what is the dilemma of the energy transformation and the need for the national policies and the international cooperation? An energy dilemma basically addresses the three often conflicting energy challenges: energy security, equitable access to the energy, and the environmental sustainability, which is basically maintaining the balance in the context of the rapid transition to decentralized and decarbonized and the digital system is challenging with the risk of equally essential goals. And this basically is all the factors examine the energy trilemma and transition to the sustainable energy in the top 10 carbon dioxide emitting countries in the world. So we have different countries for that. The top 10 carbon dioxide emitting countries are China, US, Russia, Japan, Iran, Germany, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, and Indonesia. So most of the people are from the Saudi Arabia. So Saudi is on the ninth number of emission of the carbon dioxide. So all these countries are well developed, and not a single underdeveloping country can play a role in emitting the carbon dioxide. But again, they are facing the consequences. Like they are affected by the floods, they are affected by the this climate change phenomena, But again, they have a very minor role in this emission of the carbon dioxide and the climate change. So these are the nations who are responsible for emitting carbon dioxide and who are responsible for the phenomena of the climate change. Okay, and this trilemma in the world energy sector and the transition to the sustainable energy simultaneously enhances the economic growth and the environmental quality in the long run. Because these type of the energy trilemmas are the sustainable energy transition investment in the fixed asset and energy use all the contribute to economic growth, and the energy trilemma is negatively correlated with the environmental quality, and the fixed asset investment and the energy use are positively linked with the environmental quality. In addition to enhancing the economic growth, investment in the fixed asset and the energy use from the environment. So the policymakers in the top 10 these carbon dioxide emission nations should improve and integrate these energy policies actions to promote the energy security, environmental strategies, mobilize investment that encourage the technological innovation and facilitate the green energy transitions that maximize the social and economic benefits and that support the environmental sustainability. Okay. So until now, I have to recap that what we have learned so far. We have learned that what is energy transition? Energy transition is basically refers to changing our energy system. That we have to shift from fossil fuel, from non-renewable means of the energy to these renewable energy sources. And these renewable energy resources are the solar energy, air, wind, and geothermal energy and biomass energy. So for that, we have to develop the energy systems and the strong frameworks that support different technologies that support the different energy systems so that we can get the renewable energy system. So we are working on it because in the upcoming decade, we are working very well. And these are the steps for improving the process of energy transition. And from here, I already told you that how carbon increase the temperature because this carbon heat treats the temperature and release the greenhouse gases and the entire globe got heat up. And this is the different type of the harvesting of the renewable energy resources. And then we have the comparison of renewable energy resources and the renewable energy resources. And for the grid management, you have to be very careful about the generators, about the power cables, about the site. Either the site is suitable for this grid or not. And these are the factors which affect the grid. Okay, from now I will tell you about the unit 2, which is assessment and the assignment. So there are the two types of the assignment, that is formative assignments and summative assignments. So you have to fulfill this assignment and you send it to the institute. So the institute then will access your assignment and assist you and will grade you. So I will guide you about the unit 2 assignment and how can you guys have to fulfill this assignment. So first is understand the physics of the energy related carbon cycle and its effects on the temperature. So I already told you that carbon cycle basically is the cycle which increase the temperature. It has a huge impact on the environment. You know, the carbon cycle has huge impact on the temperature because release of the carbon releases heat and our entire globe will be heated. Our entire environment will face the consequences. So what we want that these are the learning outcomes. That after solving this question, You will grab the concept that how the energy related carbon cycle impacts the temperature. So, what are the assessment criteria? You have to identify and differentiate what we mean by scope of this carbon footprints. You know, the carbon footprints, basically, the carbon footprints are the emissions of the carbon, and you know, it is individual carbon emissions. For instance, if a person is a vegetarian, if a person is non-vegetarian, so can you tell me, guys, whose carbon footprints is greater than in both of these persons? A vegetarian or a non-vegetarian? Okay, the non-vegetarian person has huge carbon footprint, and as compared to the non-vegetarian. So if a person uh, you utilize more time and the more water in the that person is much higher as compared to that individual who utilizes the average time on it. So you know, the carbon footprinting is basically a process of measuring the amount of the greenhouse gases emissions, particularly carbon dioxide associated with an individual, with an organization, with a product or the services. Basically, it is a crucial step to understand and mitigate the climate change impact. So here I would like to mention that there are several types of the carbon footprints. There are personal carbon footprints, organizational carbon footprints, and the product carbon footprints that are individual emissions from daily activities such as transport. If a person is traveling like by his own automobile, and if a person is traveling through the bus, so the person who is traveling through has low carbon footprint compared to the person who is traveling his own automobile in his own vehicle. So if each and every person adopt the public mean of transportation, so the carbon footprints will become low, and that you know they will ultimately have the environment. And again, you have to describe the carbon cycle in your assignment and to the energy usage and for example, I because these points in the terms of the Anthropocene, okay, you have to describe the carbon cycle in the terms of the energy. And I want to tell you guys, if you do not follow this assessment criteria, the, the assessor will not give you the mark. So you have to be very careful for this. So for, in that, you have to explain how to read the key intergovernment panel to the climate change IPCC reports and apply the knowledge on the published report. So you have to pick up a report which is available on the Google, and you have to read these intergovernment panel, the climate change, and you have to apply your own knowledge on that report. You have to analyze the physical principle of energy technologies and how these energy technologies are historically used. You have to Google it. You have to find out the history of these energy technologies. So this is your question one. You have to fulfill these facts. So moving towards the next one. Okay, in the learning comes with the understanding and the understanding about the physical concepts of harvesting the renewable alternatives to the fossil fuels and the technologies and the market development within this area. So basically, what are the renewable alternatives to the fossil fuels? I have already told you that these are the which these are the resources that can be replenished, over time. The sustainable ways to generate, the solar, hydro, electro, and biomass. So in this question and this, these are the learning outcomes. You have to fulfill these all five learning outcomes. In this question, you have to explain the technological trends, the market development, and the physical principles, and the concentrated solar power. And you have to find out these type of the onshore and offshore wind harvesting. That you have to analyze the concept of how the energy can harvest. For instance, if you take the example of the wind energy, so there are the offshore and if you take the example of the hydro energy, there are the onshore. Onshore means you are harvesting the electricity on the site, and offshore means you are harvesting the energy off the site. And then you have to explain the technological trends, the market development, physical principle of hydroelectric power plant, and the wave and the tidal energy. So you have to work on these two technologies, hydroelectric power and wave and tidal energy harvesting. And then you have to analyze the environmental impact of onshore and offshore wind harvesting. So I think the onshore harvesting has huge environmental impact because it will affect the ecological positions of the soil of the land. It will affect the geological position of the tectonic plates, and again the land. Again, it will occupy the huge piece of the land for onshore settings. So these are the different environmental effects. Then you have to evaluate the harvesting geothermal and contemporary technology trends. You have to analyze the principle of these technologies, and you have to evaluate how the natural setting of the given country region support or hinder the use and development of the renewable energy harvesting technologies. You know that these type of developed nations always facilitate, always work, always invest budget in these type of renewable energy harvesting technologies. So that's why these are well developed and their economic condition is also better as compared to the underdeveloping countries. Because the underdeveloping countries have their own, their own limits. They are fighting with the unemployment, they're fighting with the poverty, the illiteracy. So they even can't think about it because they don't have budget, they don't have such um, finance sector strong. So these are the different reasons for that. So moving towards the next one. In third question, you have to which we want. We want that after solving these questions, you will understand the physical principle of the non-renewable alternatives to the fossil fuels, the political sensitivities of the non-renewables, and the technological and the market related to these sources of energy. So in this question, you have to discuss the physical principle of the carbon capture and the storage technology. So its technological development existing the markets and evolution of the oil producing states in China. So I will be really glad if any one of you can you please tell me about such type of the experience or the any about any country who is very high in carbon emissions. Yes, Mr. Asad, I'm still from you. Please, can you please tell me?
Yes, ma'am. Can please ask a question again?
Yes, I want to ask that can you please give your own point of view about the any country? You think that this country is working very well in the sector of the carbon emissions? and in the sector of
Yes, as per my experience, we are doing a job as an environment coordinator in a different project. They are working for carbon emissions. Now they introduced such types of policy, just like a circular economy. They work on it and working on a sustainable future here in Saudi Arabia because too much emit the carbon. Different types of industries, different types of construction projects, sea projects. Now they are working for sustainable futures to introduce such types of ideas, just like in Riyadh they can introduce the one project is give a name as a Green Riyadh project. He take the plantation. Through about my projects, I can introduce the different strategies as per my experience to the because I can say I or the other every time to told for everyone, every individual person is responsible for the sustainable future. How we can contribute, our single effort will be counted as a sustainable future. As per my role, personally, I work for a sustainable future to take some plantation in projects to reuse some waste, recycle. That's it.
thank you so much, Mr. Asad, because I feel really glad because my students are on a huge level of the knowledge because these are all people who are working on the practical form. They are connected with the practical platform. So I am very happy that you presented your own point of view about that. But again, I want to tell you that these assignments are very important for your paper. You have to fulfill these assignments. You have to solve these assignments and you send back to the institute because these are mandatory. Okay, so moving towards the next question. Okay, I was explaining the second one. Explain the physical principle of using biomass, biofuel, and why the biomass is important considering a renewable energy resources. Biomass is very important. You know, biomass contains the animal manure, these the leaves and the such type of waste. It will because it plays a role. It helps in waste management and it also gives us the energy. It also gives us the energy in the form of electricity. So biomass is considered as one of the very important renewable energy. Moving towards the next one, you have to explain the physical principle of using nuclear power and the storing nuclear power waste. You know the nuclear waste is very dangerous and it's non-recyclable. It did not decompose easily. So its role in the national energy security strategy for the various reasons. So its storing and its decomposition is much more important and it's dangerous as well. Next, you have to explain the physical principle of hydrogen and the different color of the hydrogen and the technological risk related to the hydrogen use. Then we have the critical analyze the environmental impact of the biomass and nuclear energy and their critical sensitivity. You know that the nuclear energy is a sector in which you have to be very careful about the political condition and the political sensitivity. Political condition and the political sensitivity. Moving towards the we want to understand the dependence of alternative energy resources on the storage and the care advantage, in which you have to differentiate between the two periods. Number one is centralized, and the number two is distributed. You know this I have already told you what is the care management. So can you please tell me about Anyone from the class?
Sorry, ma'am.
Okay, I will centralize and distribute management. The centralized dispute management is basically a traditional model in which you have a single authority control and that manages the entire grid. But there are advantages. It has some advantages, but the disadvantages as well. It is easy to manage, easy to maintain. It is cost effective, but there are disadvantages. You are only dependent on a single point. If that single point is failed, the entire grid will be failed. Then we have the distributed grid management, in which you have the decentralized multiple autonomous entitled manage and control local bodies, and it has several advantages that this type of the system increase the resilience and others that it accommodate the decentralized renewable energy sources and improve energy efficiency that enhance the customer participation. Then we have life cycle assessment and understanding of the environmental impact of the lithium batteries. What is the impact of the lithium batteries? This question is very important and very interesting. So, lithium batteries, either they are dangerous for us or not. Okay, don't worry. I will tell you that these type of the lithium batteries have a significant effect on the environment in both negative. What so I will tell you what are the positive. These lithium batteries enable the efficient storage of the renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and it reduce the dependence on the fossil fuel. Okay, the first purpose is that these lithium batteries store energy efficiently. And the second is transportation. These lithium ion batteries basically decreases greenhouse gases and the transport is very easy, so it will definitely decrease the emission. And the lithium batteries optimize energy using the various application, reducing the waste and promoting the sustainability. But what are the negative effects? Lithium mining can harmful to the local ecosystem, and lithium, cobalt, and the nickel used in these batteries can be very toxic if not handled and disposed properly. Their disposal is also another issue because their waste management is challenging. And again, you have to follow them, mitigate these type of environmental issues. Moving towards the next question, you have to give the analysis on a circular economy, and that can be used to manage the battery waste and storage of the rare material. The last question is understanding the trilemma of the energy transformation and the need for the national policy and the international cooperation. For that, you have to assess the national and the international policies for the energy transition. So, my personal point of view is that if energy is playing, or if the energy is producing more energy carbon footprints and more carbon footprints, they have to work more. And if a nation play a least role in emission of the carbon, that obviously that energy have to play the least role. So for that, different countries have developed different policies, like US and China. They have developed such a policy, such as Paris Agreement, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and the climate and the. And then we have evaluate what is the dilemma of energy transformation, and you have to critically assess the role of the international collaboration as an enabler to of the energy transformation. because you have to correlate all the nations that either they are working internationally and their agreements are fruitful or not. You have to compare for that. So until now, I have given you a detailed point of view about the energy transition and how the environment has been worked. And I have clearly told you about what are the learning outcomes and what are the demands of the assignment, because you have to work on these learning outcomes. Learning outcome from what I have explained that how you solve your assignment, because assignment is very important. If you question, if you have very, if you have any ambiguity, and if you guys want to ask any question, so please feel free to ask questions. So otherwise, I'm going to end the session right now. So, do you people have any question?
Yes, ma'am. About the energy transition, uh, according to the the word climate change what is a climate crisis? It means climate emergencies to increase the global warming day by day. So, how we can balance need the energy security with the need to reduce the carbon emissions?
Mr. Asad, can you please repeat your question?
Yes. As we study the different sources from the sites, personally, I checked the one of the sites which is called Climate Clock, which here is to mention the only 5 year is remaining. After that, to the global temperature increase more. If we can do the something for the climate change or sustainable future. So my question is that how we can balance the need for energy security with the need to reduce the carbon emissions.
Energy security in construction sector. You want to ask this?
Sorry, ma'am, you cannot understand my question, right? My question is that how we can balance the need for energy security with the need to reduce the carbon emissions. So, how we can reduce the carbon emissions to secure the our energy security?
Okay. So for resolving carbon emissions, you have to follow the renewable energy resources. You have to diversify the energy resources. You have to use the energy efficient buildings, industries. For example, if you want to transition to the low carbon energy resources like the solar, wind, hydropower energies, you have to build such type of the building in which the material is very good, and you have to implement the carbon capturing and the storage technologies to reduce the emission. You have to develop the smart grids to manage these renewable energy resources. You have to invest in energy storing. You have to work with other civil engineers and the environmentalists. When they both work together, they definitely work well, and you have to continue invest on these policies. Okay, the uh, uh, voice is not clear to me, but Mr. Asad, I can um, ask from that what are the ambiguities you have left in this session. Okay, this is promised to you, because I'm not clearly listened to you this time, so that's why I asked you to repeat the question. But Mr. Asad, don't worry. In the next session, I will ask the question again about this session and I will answer your questions. All right.
All right, no problem, ma'am. I understand. Thank you for explanation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sir. So nice of you. So I'm trying to end the session. Take care till then. Bye bye.